Hey everyone, I'm back. Sorry it took so long. I decided to give up on Lost Gems 12, which was going to be the 7th saga for the Super Nintendo, and instead I decided to get right to work on Lost Gems Revisited. That's where I'm going to take some of the articles I've written, the first 8 games that I've talked about in the Lost Gems series, and put them to video. So, welcome to Episode 1, Lost Gems Revisited. Hello and welcome to Lost Gems Revisited, Episode 1. Now, a little backstory. In 1996, Nintendo released the Nintendo 64, and there was not a whole lot of games released for it. In fact, there was only 2 launch titles, Pilot Wings and Mario 64. And after that, there was maybe a couple of forgettable titles, and then Star Wars Shadows of the Empire in the holiday season. Now, around February of 97, Acclaim released Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Probably one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. Had great graphics. In fact, it showed off the system's potential. It had a unique control scheme using the C buttons on the Nintendo 64 controller. It had some great platforming action, and it had a ton of fun weapons. Now, a year and a half later, Acclaim would release Turok 2, and it improved the graphics quite a bit. In fact, if you even had the 4 megabyte expansion pack upgrade for the system, it actually allowed for sharper, better visuals, improved frame rate, and the game overall was more story driven. It also had double the amount of weapons from the first one. I think the first one had like 14 guns. This one has like 23, 24 weapons, and of course everyone's favorite weapon, the cerebral bore. Now, what most people did not know, that within months of each game's release, they came out on the PC. And I only recently discovered this about 5 years ago that they came out on the PC. So there were quite a lot of changes, among other things that I'm going to discuss with you right now. So let's take a nice deep look into these games. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about Turok 1 first off. It released 6 months after the original, came out in October of 1997, and right away you can tell there were some vast improvements, 2 of which being obvious, which was the improved frame rate and the much sharper, more detailed graphics, thanks to 3D graphic cards that were coming out at the time, although it was not required to play this game, but it was one of the few games that if you had one for, it made the game look so much better. Now, one of the other differences that was not necessarily noticed right away, but I figured out soon enough, was the save system was different. In this game, you can actually save wherever you want, whenever you want, as opposed to Nintendo 64, where you actually had to find the save stations, like practically hidden throughout each level, or usually designated before a boss area. And it just made it a hassle having to run and back and forth to these save areas. Now, in Turok for the PC, you can just save wherever you want, and just go from there. And now, one of the other things I enjoyed about it was the fact that the controls were so much better with the mouse and keyboard than it was on the Nintendo 64 control scheme. The control scheme was pretty good, but it was later beaten by the PlayStation's dual analog stick, which became the standard for PlayStation for first-person shooters. And I also enjoyed the vast amount of weapons and all that. Now, moving on, going on to Turok 2. Now, Turok 2 came out at least 4 or 5 months after the original, so it came out in about 1998, and it also improved on the graphics and the control scheme, and in fact, if you ask me, I think it had better music than the 64 version, because the Nintendo 64 had near CD quality. Well, you had actual CD quality music on the PC version. Now, one of the big things I enjoyed the most about it was the online multiplayer. I mean, they added multiplayer, but it was 4-player split screen on the Nintendo 64 version, but the online multiplayer was great. In fact, you will still find maybe a few people playing online to this day, and I actually had a chance to hop online and play. It uses GameSpy, or a version of it called GameSpy Lite,
and you pretty much can connect to people, host games. I believe they have some mods out for the game, but I didn't bother to look for them because there was no point. And they have a whole slew of games variations that you can play, from, you know, kill the monkey or monkey tag to just standard team and capture the flag and deathmatch. And it was just a whole lot of fun. And what I enjoyed the most about Turok 2, other than the multiplayer, was just the fact that it had a great storyline to it. It was fun, it was deep. Well, not that deep, but it was just overall a fun game. I enjoyed the hunt down and finding every version of a weapon that I could find, and just exploring the huge stages. While there wasn't as many, they were huge, and I just enjoyed running around in there, you know, shooting all the unique monsters. One of the things I didn't like about the game, however, was just how insanely hard the boss fights were. They were just absurdly hard, and it pretty much took a while, or more like several hundred deaths, just to figure out what the weakness to a boss was. And even on whether it was a Nintendo 64 controller or on a mouse and keyboard, it was just redundantly hard.
So overall, I have to say, you know, Turok 1 and 2 for the PC are great games overall. If you never had a chance to play them on the Nintendo 64 and you got $5 lying around, I mean, go ahead and get them. I mean, what is there to lose? Just hop on eBay, hop on Amazon. Actually, I got this on Amazon for about less than $10. So definitely check it out. I guarantee you it's a worthwhile experience. So thank you for watching Lost Gems Episode 1 Revisited, and keep on gaming.